banquet, which is held on Saturday, September 13th in Hayes, and Sunday, September 14th in Salina. The guest speaker for that is going to be the host of Beacon of Truth, Deacon Harold Burke Sivers. You know, they always called him the dynamic deacon because he is very dynamic. He has a lot of energy. He has great stories. He will challenge you to understand your faith better and live it out more. You won't want to miss it. So join with us and call in today, 785-621-4110. You are listening to Divine Mercy Radio, 101.7 KJDM, Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 KMDG Hayes, 88.1 KRTT Great Bend, 88.1 KVDM Hayes, 89.1 KGOH Colby, and 107.3 K297 AI Hill City. All right, we are getting ready here in just a moment to start another interview, and I'm going to turn this mic on really quick. All right, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So this is my first time getting to meet Jazmin Aguilar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right,
yeah.
And we are going to speak with her in a little bit, talking about adoring the one who created the stars under the stars. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. But first, we're going to get to that 5 p.m. trivia question. So, Jazmin, do you want to read it?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Okay. I always warn everybody, please don't read the answer. Just read the question and the choices.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Who took 2 of each animal and put them on an ark?
And choices.
A, Moses. B, Jesus. C, Abraham, or D, Noah?
All right, and one more time, please.
Okay. Who took 2 of each animal and put them on an ark? A, Moses. B, Jesus. C, Abraham, or D, Noah?
And you have to be 16 years of age or younger to answer that. 785-621-4110. And those who know their Bible would actually be like, well, actually, there's another place where it's 7 pairs. And so it's more than just 2 of each animal. But that works because that's how most people know it. It looks like we might have a winner. I'll get that name to you in just a minute. But you can also call in and give us your donation at 785-621-4110. All right. Now I would like to introduce our next and last guest of the day. Is this one of those save the best for last type things?
Oh, I don't know. I was just told to come here.
I was just told to come. Who told you? Jesus?
Yeah, you know,
okay.
He's just in my dreams.
well, then you have a lot closer relationship than I do. All right, so Jazmin was born in Garden City, Kansas, where she attended Garden City Community College before coming to Fort Hays. She's very involved in the Catholic Campus Center, where she leads a Bible study and the music ministry. She's working towards her bachelor's in elementary music education, and her life revolves around music. She is helping to lead Adoration Under the Stars and many other events for the Campus Center. Well, welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Jesus and saying, oh, absolutely. If you tell me, I'm going, sir.
Yeah.
All right, really quickly, want to congratulate Clara Beasley. Congratulations, Clara, for listening and getting that correct. The correct answer there is Noah. So don't worry if you didn't get that one like Clara did. She was fast on the dial. Nice job, Clara. We'll have another one at 5:30. I promise it'll be close to that at least. 5:30 or a little after. We'll get that question for you. Call 785-621-4110. Adults, if you're listening, call that number and give us your pledge. Help us to use up our $7,650 in matching funds that we have left. Okay, Jazmin.
Yeah.
Let's get into then. We mentioned that you're helping to lead this Adoration Under the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been to one and it's really awesome, but not everybody has. So can you tell our listeners, what is it?
Yeah. So basically, we gather together this time at TMP, but we gather together to adore Jesus in the Eucharist in his holy presence, and it's so awesome. I've only been to one before. Well, one small one, but one big one during the Eucharistic conference. And I just when I'm picturing it, I'm picturing that. So I'm just thinking rows of people just all facing the Lord outdoors under the stars and getting to have the outdoors behind the Eucharist and like around just brings you so much deeper into prayer, because you're getting to appreciate the nature while also getting to appreciate Jesus. But yeah, you're outside and you're doing adoration like you would inside, but it's a different feeling for sure. And hopefully, obviously, there's gonna be music, and hopefully, it just like makes the experience 10 times better. But yeah, it's adoration is so simple yet so deep, and just one of my favorite things ever. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. And so, yeah, so the reason why I think it is so beautiful, I mean, you kind of mentioned it, is, we're out there in God's creation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that God doesn't want us to live on feelings, but also when he gives us those consolations, like, it's good to be like, thank you, Lord, for this moment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the adoration under the stars, I agree. I have always found it to be just a beautiful, beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're there with the creator of everything that you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
Like, how could you not be a little bit moved? I mean, at least for me, I can't show up to something like that and be like, meh.
Yeah. No, seriously, like just adoration in general. When
Yeah.
you get to more adoration, it's just like the deeper you feel connected, the more you feel connected with Jesus. And so being able to do that, like, I feel just so blessed to be able to have that experience here in Hayes.
Yeah. So let's say somebody's never experienced it. All right.
Mhm.
We get there. Most everybody knows what adoration is,
Mhm.
right? So there's adoration, but what else does it look like? You said there's music.
Mhm.
Is this like hard rock music? I mean, I think everybody knows probably not. We're not listening to heavy metal music while we're adoring Jesus, right? But can you give us some more insight into, if I was to show up, this is what I would be experiencing?
Yeah, so you show up, you pick your spot, and you can bring a lawn chair, you can bring blankets, whatever you feel most comfortable in, because you're going to be there for an hour. But yeah, you get to make your own little setup, make yourself comfortable, and then we start with like a procession of getting the Eucharist to, which I don't know exactly where it's going to be.
Probably
like,
in the
facing.
grotto. We have a
Yeah.
grotto over there, and
Okay.
there's an altar, and
Okay, so
yeah.
they'll do the procession to the altar, and there will be music playing, just just a little more kind of soothing music, not rock metal, but yeah, we'll just make that procession, sing songs, and the musicians that we have, so we call it stacked. I don't know
Okay.
how, like, we're just like stacked in the sense of like, okay, we have a really good group of musicians, because we have if you know Maggie Ballman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Jessica, oh, her last name was Herman, but
Now it's
Jessica,
Bussing.
that was Bussing. Yeah.
Yep.
And then so they're gonna be leading us with like their voices. They are just, if you've ever heard their voices together, it's just like so
It's amazing.
good. Yeah. So they'll be doing that. Maggie will be on the guitar, and then I will be playing the violin for it. And we have a pianist named Andrew Taylor.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah. So just like a and Michael Garvert, he's gonna be doing the cajon. We're gonna try to set up the mic so the cajon can be heard as best as we can.
Wait, time out. What's a cajon? I don't even know this.
Really?
No.
Okay. So yeah, fair enough. I didn't know till I got here. But ask Father Andy, actually, because he's a really good cajon player. Don't let him surprise you.
Really?
Yeah. But a cajon is like, you think like a box that has a hollow inside, but it has like normal paneling on the outside, like wooden paneling, and then one kind of thinner paneling on the other side in the front. So, well, people on the live stream can see this, but like it'll be literally just a big box. I want to say about like that big, like yeah. And usually the player sits on it, and it's like gives like different beats, like ooh, I guess I can't really do
I've seen it now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they like use their hands to play that front panel, but it's calmer than a drum set. So we were kind of going back and forth between, do we want to do like a drum set? Michael has his own like electric drum set that's easy and portable. So we were going to try with that one first. And then, yeah, we got to practice and it was just like, I think a cajon does, we all came to the consensus of like, oh yeah, I think cajon would work better just because it's not as like in your face. And especially when we're trying, obviously we want to use the music to help elevate prayers, but we don't want it to get into the way of like the actual prayer part. So if it's like too loud,
That's awesome
it's like,
thinking.
Yeah. So it's like a little balance there, but
yeah, that would make sense though, because Father Andy, I don't want to make his head too big, especially if he's listening, but he is a really great drummer. And so that would make sense that he would be good at this. So
yeah.
Awesome. So you are in charge then of putting this on. How do you go about planning something like this? What does that process look like?
Yeah. So the leadership team for the Catholic Campus Center on Fort Hays was like, I don't know how long it's been going on, but they've got a good gist of like, got a good system of, yeah, this is something we want to bring back every year because it's just so good. But the leaders for the CC, we gathered together and we kind of like ran through like logistic wise, like who do we have to communicate with? We have one person specifically who deals with like communicating with different people. So she talked Juliana.
Oh, yeah.
she talked with she's our main like communication with TMP and like getting us those places reserved and like asking ahead of time and just having that place set out. And then we have Jenna Gleason who goes through the trouble of like making our flyers and making sure like ads get sent out to like different parishes. And keeping our students informed too. And then, I didn't know that I was gonna have to, I guess, since this is my first semester leading the music ministry, it was a whole bunch of new things. But they
trial by fire, huh?
Yeah.
Throw it in.
But luckily, I mean, Jesse and Maggie ran it last semester and last year, so they kind of like they've been there for any question that I've had. So when they came up to me around like spring break time and they were like, hey, Adoration Under the Stars is coming up. Have you thought of anything? I'm like, I didn't know.
I didn't even know this.
I was like, I now I will, but no, I have been just, the first thing was like getting the music down. What songs do we want? And Jess and Maggie have been playing together for a long time. And then since I came to Fort Hays, which was last spring, I've been invited with them to play like the violin. And so it's like a little trio of like their voices, powerhouse of voices that they have. And then I add in the violin and then maybe occasionally a like third harmony. And so it's really, really fun to be able to do that with them. So I automatically was like, I knew that Jesse and Maggie were going to sing. And when we were talking about it with Father Andy, he was like, let's keep this like a small group since it was quote unquote late. But it ended up working out perfectly to still be able to have Michael and Andrew. So we were able to get together last week, go through some songs. And the biggest thing would be like for us, at least the songs, but for setup wise, for the outdoor part, we have Emma, who was like also in charge of decorating the space with like torches and making sure y'all that get to see while we're out there. But so it's really a teamwork effort right there.
Awesome. And I'm so glad to hear that the violin's always been one of my favorite instruments. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're bringing that because it is, like you said, I think it's very wise of you that you guys decided, no, let's not let the music triumph Christ's presence, but let it add to our ability to enter into the beauty of the moment. And so that's so wonderful. And thank you for that gift. I want to remind everybody that you're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon. We are here talking with Jazmin Aguilar, and she is helping to bring about Adoration Under the Stars. And so if you've never experienced that, that is happening this Friday, correct?
Tomorrow.
Oh, that is. I'm lost on my days, folks. So yes, that's tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Yes, 8 o'clock.
Okay, I had to make sure I get that right. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Please, go out and even if you're let's say you're somebody that works late, you can show up whenever you can show up. If it's already started, don't worry because there's going to be lots of people there, and you can, like Jasmine said, you can bring your chair, you can bring a blanket. If you've got kids, it'll probably be kind of nice, but bring them in their coats, their hats, whatever you need, and just come and adore our Lord. It'll be a beautiful experience. You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio Spring Care-a-thon. Pray, hope, and don't worry. I will get to another trivia question in about 15 minutes. But if you're out there and you're listening, we could use your help. We are on this Care-a-thon because this is one of the two we do throughout the year that gives us the funds we need to make sure that we get through the year. Call 785-621-4110 because we still have $7,650 of matching funds that we want to use up in the next 45 minutes if we can. 785-621-4110. All right, let's get back to speaking with Jazmin about lots of things with adoration under the stars and all kinds of other things. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, if that's okay with you, and just kind of ask because I love hearing how things happen at the campus center and the wonderful things that are going on. How did you originally start getting involved with the campus center?
So I just walked in, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was a transfer student, so it was surprisingly easy to just like talk to everybody there. Yeah, and I would not say I'm the most extroverted person. I have social like energy, but like just talking to people is not my strong suit, but everybody there is just so welcoming. And I got to get involved because Jess and Maggie, like I said last spring, they were kind of running the ministry, and so I got to know them really well because I was interested in joining it, and they were just so easy to reach. Just like they're around the CC often, and same goes with all the leaders that are there now. Is like they're around the CC so often that you can walk in at any given moment, and you almost like 90% of the time you can find somebody there. But yeah, I knew music was something I wanted to help out with. And so I reached out to them and they were like, yeah, like we'd love to have you. What can you do? And so I just signed up by just singing for mass with another person. And yeah, they worked that whole schedule out. And then last fall, it was, it was just continuing that. And they did ask me if I would be interested in running the ministry this semester, and I was like, okay, let me pray about it. But Jesus told me yes, so I had to follow.
Which is awesome because a lot of times when people say let me pray about it, it's like a scapegoat. Sometimes people don't mean that. It's like, oh yeah, I'll pray about that and never get back to you. But so thank you for actually praying about it and listening. That's wonderful. And so since you were involved in music and you were getting involved, I kind of am curious then with your own journey in life, when did you start being involved in music?
Better question for me is like, when was I not in music? Because it was like my mom did like the church choir back home in Garden City, and actually she was in like 3 choirs. Overachiever, but but she brought me along, and I would say that like really started the love for music. It was just like I started singing for the church, and through that I got to start learning different instruments, and then grew my curiosity and like wanting to learn more instruments. So I started with the guitar, went to the violin, soon after got to the mandolin, and it was just like since then I've been on this. Obviously now I'm studying for music education, but if it wasn't for my mom dragging me along to sing at the church choir, then I don't know what I'd be doing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I think music is amazing and beautiful, and I am so not musically talented. And so my children make me just like, man, I'm a little bit jealous of that. So how many instruments can you play?
Okay. I gotta count them off. So we have guitar, mandolin, violin. Music major, I'm required to learn piano. So I took 2 years of piano. But I will preface with that one, I know how to read music and can play out, but I'm not like gifted. So it's like
Okay.
I could read music, but it'll take me a week to get it really good. And then the ukulele was just really easy to pick up after guitar. And
So mostly
yeah.
string instruments
So
are
mostly
your
string instruments are
okay.
my forte. Yeah. As a music major, the course we had to take some courses of like learning woodwind instruments, and then there's another semester of like learning brass instruments. I've taken the woodwind instrument class, so I know the basics of like clarinet. You do not want to hear me. I'm like one of those intermediate, not even just like a little kid didn't given a stick. But yeah, and then I would say one that I am really familiar with is like the flute. That would be like the only other one. So
Okay. What is it
yeah.
like? So once you learn one instrument, I've heard
Mhm.
that if you learn piano, that helps with a lot of the
Mm.
others, but I'm not sure because once again, I'm not musically inclined. I've just heard that. What
Mhm.
is it like to go from one instrument to the other? I suppose if it's a string instrument,
Mhm.
it's probably easier to go to another string instrument.
Yeah.
But does learning one automatically transfer to, well, I know what chords are and things like
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
so I can probably do this? Or have you found like in some of them that you're just like, no, this isn't
uh,
happening?
yeah. The hard like string instruments are their own kind of thing, and if you're like going between string instruments, that's fine. But going from like string to like woodwind, something where you have to use your breath,
Uh-huh.
that's harder. But within the strings, um, yeah, piano helps a lot just getting used to learning how to read music and then being able to hear pitch as well. Um, I would say if you're starting out, the easiest would be either ukulele or guitar because, yeah, they have chords and then those it's like really easy to remember. Like once you have them down, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. Um, with when it came to the violin, that was harder because it's like not even similar to guitar. Like yes, you use your fingers in that sort of sense, but it's a whole lot of like double-handed motion kind of, that
Oh
pat
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah,
Pat
rub your
and
belly, pat your head at the same
yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that kind of, but like you're just using your fingers and having to worry about 10 billion things at the same time. So I would say if you're going between like multiple string instruments, the you can find it easier to get between like guitar, ukulele, maybe even mandolin, but no, the violin is like its own little thing. Same with like I would say cello and bass, that kind of thing, because it's well within those violin, cello, bass, that might be a little
Yeah.
easier, but it's still different, like fingering patterns and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say the violin because I've played it has helped me like that would be the harder one, and then I was
Okay.
able to go to the easier ones.
Okay. How
Yeah.
long have you been playing the violin?
About 12 years, like since I was
Okay.
in 6th grade. So yeah, kind of,
Wow.
yeah.
So probably a little bit proficient in it then.
Yeah. I've been playing for a long time.
Okay.
Um, and just yeah, I've done a lot with it. I've done lots of weddings, lots of um, funerals, all events. But my favorite thing to do is like play for weddings with the violin because it adds so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Take a quick break here. I want to thank an anonymous donor who just called in with a $250 donation. Thank you so much. That uses up some more of those matching funds, becomes a $500 donation. Please call in to 785-621-4110. Let's see how much of these funds we can get in here before the end of the day. If we don't get enough, they might fire me. Some of you might be out there like, okay, good. So I'm just kidding. I don't get paid anything for, actually, maybe I do. But I don't know if they're going to fire me or not. I just believe in the mission of this radio station. And I would ask that you join with me, partner with me, and let's keep this thing going. 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. Here in a little bit, we'll get to our next question, but we're talking with Jazmin Aguilar about adoring the one who created the stars. And we're talking about adoration under the stars, getting some of her background. This has been a great conversation, so stay with us. All right. So, Jazmin, we've talked a little bit about your background and things like that, about getting involved and being involved at the campus center. What other things are you involved with down at the campus center?
Yeah, so on top of the music ministry, I help out with the Spanish Bible study. So I lead this through like a Lectio of the gospel this week or last week, and then do an exegesis over it. So that's really fun because I know when I started listening to exegesis, like it helped me better understand the context and like get a better understanding of what was going on. Because sometimes when we're going to mass, it's like, oh yeah, it's just like this random isolated passage, but
Oh,
getting
yeah.
to hear the context of like historical context of what's going on has been really helpful for me. And so also, I knew I wanted to bring that into like the Bible study. And then, yeah, we also do like focus kind of Bible studies too. If you know, like the focus missionaries that we have on campus, they have Bible study kind of like layouts, outlines that help you, like the Bible study leader, follow them. And they're free for anybody. So if there's somebody that wants to like start a focus Bible study, if they're somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, they have that resource, and it's an awesome resource because it gives you what like passage to read and then like description about it too, and it's so easy to follow. So yeah, do the Bible study, and then I also do discipleship with one of our missionaries, Jessie Dakey. She is the head missionary for this campus, at least.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she's just like walked with me and challenged me in so many different ways. They're here to help us like grow in like virtue and like in our faith life. And I've definitely seen a difference of where I was like even a year ago to where I am now. It's just like mind-boggling because she really challenges me to like pray deeper. Yeah, and just invite the Lord into the small things, the big things, and like all the in between. And yeah, and because she set me up and like built me up in my like prayer life and faith life, I have then been able to go and kind of walk with somebody else. Like now that I feel secure in my beliefs, I can like go with somebody else and just challenge them in the way that Jessie challenged me. And so it's just like we're just creating a community, building each other up, and so it's like so good. So yeah, I would say those were the only, at least at the CC, that's the only two other things that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does it look like then? Maybe we can start getting into a little bit of what does it look like to disciple someone else? You know,
Yeah.
I think it's really hard for us to kind of understand this, because in my head, when I hear something like that, it almost seems like you just walk up to people on campus and like, hey, want to know Jesus? Let's take a walk. Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't even know how does that. I mean, Focus has gotten really good at this, but what does that process look like, and what do you really mean when you're talking about discipling someone?
Yeah. So when she approached me, she wasn't like trying to talk about Jesus like right away. Like she was trying to get to know me. And that obviously makes us as college students who are just like away from family, just that helps us feel seen, heard, and loved. So yeah, being able to meet with her just as a person first and like getting to have that connection of like we have a good friendship. And then it wasn't until like maybe a couple meetings later that she's like, can I talk to you about like Jesus specifically? And so we started off with the friendship, then we invite Jesus into our conversation, and she shared with me the gospel, which through the focus like lens they have or description I should say, they share the gospel through one relationship, like we're made for a relationship. So that's what she started with. Like she started a relationship with me. And then we go to rebellion, which would be like, yeah, because of the fall, we are all broken and we have concupiscence, right? Like the
The draw to sin.
Draw to sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that, yeah, we have rebellion stages, but then we also have reconciliation, like when we come back to Jesus and we let Jesus heal our wounds. And then recreation, he's creating us into the people that he wants us to be, more free, more happy. And what does that look like within virtue? And what does that look like in like daily life? Like that doesn't have to be something extreme. It could literally be, okay, yeah, today I choose to wear longer shorts than I do. That can be like, yeah, I'm not gonna look up on ChatGPT this question. Like it's just like striving to be better in what we do. And then number 5 is the response is like, okay, I know Jesus. Like, do I want others to know Jesus? It isn't just a message for like specific people. It's literally a message for everybody. Like, do we, if it was, let me see, like trying to explain this.
No, that's great.
Yeah, like if it's good news, like we're gonna want to share it. Like this is Jesus, this is the gospel that we're wanting to share. It isn't like, yeah, my grandma died. And I'm so sorry if that's actually something you're going through right now.
Yeah.
But it's like there's things that you don't really want to share with everybody that maybe isn't relevant to everybody.
Uh-huh.
But the news of the gospel is relevant to everybody. It's like
Yeah.
having to deal with our souls in all eternity. And yeah, so part of the whole process of being discipled is like coming from one, we know we're made for a relationship, and especially on campuses, like we have a lot of students that just don't know how loved we are by the God the Father, and so we're yearning for something, but we don't know what to do, where to look, what to turn. And then rebellion is like we oftentimes don't go to God for our like troubles. We don't let him into the parts that maybe we don't want anybody to see. And so we do that with Jesus too. Is like we hide from him. We're just like, we don't need you right now. We can do this on our own. Like that's not going to make me happy. Drinking with some friends is going to make me so happy. And then we have so I'm basically walking you through again,
Yeah.
but it's just like so important because yeah, once discipleship has reached to the point where you've been able to help somebody acknowledge like we have that rebellion in this, like, okay, how do we let Jesus in? And so yeah, she's really helped walk in discipleship. What that means, like after you've created that relationship, identified rebellion, is like push each other towards a greater degree of glory is the best way I can put it in. Just working with each other to hold each other accountable, follow the teachings of the apostles, and yeah, grow in our spiritual and prayer life. But and eventually being able to be confident enough to share the good news. So yeah, that's kind
Wow.
of.
So how did she approach you in the first place? Was she, were you both at mass, or how does that even come about?
Yeah. I honestly just these like Catholic Tigers events. Like
Okay.
the missionaries are always there to like help, whatever we need, whether it be like small things like helping set up or something. But for the event, they're always there. It's their job, and it's, if you know Jessie, oh my gosh, she has this deep passion to just want to reach everybody around her. So it's like they're easily approachable. They see you as people, and that's like one of the basic things that just draws you to them. But yeah, they're just always around. And I think we met at a Catholic Tigers event, like probably one of the first, I think back to school barbecue. I think that's when I met her. And then, yeah, so she was like, hey, like do you want to go get coffee sometime? And I was like, yeah, sure. And the 2 new missionaries, girl missionaries, well, at least they were new. They weren't here last year, so it was like I was kind of getting to know them too.
Okay.
I didn't do discipleship with either of the 2 girls from last year or last spring. So when she had asked me to go for coffee, I was like, that'd be cool. Like I didn't exactly know what their purpose was on campus, but yeah, after getting to know her, I got to know like what focus was and what discipleship was, and she asked me to do discipleship, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I said I'll pray about it, but I eventually said yeah.
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 Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
We're in here talking with Jazmin about her background, things that are going on at Fort Hayes, Adoration under the stars, and all kinds of other wonderful things. Want to get to our second trivia question that I've been promising you guys. So once again, this is 16-year-olds or younger. Call 785-621-4110. Here we go. Which of these people would you find in the New Testament? Is it Isaac, Abraham, Adam, or Jesus? Which of these people would you find in the New Testament? Is it A, Isaac, B, Abraham, C, Adam, or D, Jesus? Kids, call in. Have your parents help you. Call 785-621-4110. And then when you're done with the phone, hand it to mom and be like, Mom, you should donate. 785-621-4110. We do have $7,650 left. Actually, it's down to about let's see, $7,400 left in matching funds. How much of those can we use up in the next 20 minutes? Give us a call, 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. We are going to get back to talking with Jazmin, getting some more background and things like that. We've been discussing what it looks like to disciple somebody, talking about the focus missionaries and things like that. So, Jazmin, are you then doing the same thing, even though you're not a focus missionary? Are you also then trying to spread the gospel message while on Fort Hayes campus? Is that something that you've now moved into?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole point of focus, it isn't to stay like within just the focus missionaries. Like they aren't the only ones who can spread the gospel. Literally, you are given that mission at baptism too, is like to spread the gospel. So yeah, what focus does specifically is just like trying to build. They can only walk with so many people, even though it's their job and like they do it daily, to be able to disciple someone so well. Like you can only do so many. Like Jesus only did 12, and Jesus is amazing, right? Like he had the power to disciple 12 people at a time. But what they do is like they each have like a few people, each missionary, and from then they try to like, if I could just like draw this somewhere, Jesse would be so proud. But just like, yeah, you have one person, say they were like walking with like 3 other people, and then those 3 other people were walking with 3 other people themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's like that mission to just like keep spreading it, and hopefully like we can reach the whole world. Like when you think about it, like there's just like so many people that we can reach if we are able to and willing to put ourselves in that position of, yeah, I know Jesus saved me, and I want somebody else to know that he saved them too. And so one part of the challenge of being discipled by Jesse is discipling somebody else, and because then I'm truly carrying out the mission of just going disciple all nations.
So have you been able to, and you don't need to tell us name or anything like that,
Yeah.
have you been able to start walking with anybody yet?
Yeah, I've started just this semester with one of the freshman girl.
Okay.
Yeah, her name's Emma. She's just like so good. And the choosing process of that just looked like, who am I already like, who do I have a good friendship with, and how, like, is this a person I feel like would be willing and in a good place to try to strive for better virtue, and just building her up where she's at from there. And so yeah, she's the only one I'm walking with on top of everything. I don't feel like it's like a job, because when we meet together and talk about, we literally talk about Jesus. So it's like, it doesn't feel like a job to me or like a chore. It's something I genuinely look forward to, and getting to spend time with Emma. Like this week, we met twice. We were just like, yeah, we want to do this again, because it is hard to find. Sometimes it is hard to find other girls that have the same beliefs as you, and we've just been able to bond over like, yeah, we have friends who don't really believe in the Catholic faith, like how can we stay strong in our faith, but also share with them our faith and invite them to that in a respecting and just genuine way. So yeah.
Awesome. I want to break in really quickly and congratulate Ellie Beasley, who is our trivia winner. The question there was, which of these people would you find in the New Testament? And it was Jesus. So very good on that, Ellie. Thank you so much for listening. We will put you in that drawing here in about 20 minutes and we'll see if you win that gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts here in Hayes. All right, right back to talking with Jazmin. I've been loving this because sometimes we do get that thought of like, I'm just supposed to walk out in the campus, go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, approach somebody and be like, hey, want to go have coffee? No, weirdo. So your way of explaining it helped out a lot. That, okay, there are already people within my sphere of influence. I may not know them really well now, but I have somewhat of a relationship with them. And so I can start from here and try to build on that relationship from what it already is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps out a lot. More than just like some creepy dude approached me today.
You're
Like,
right.
I was a little bit weirded out.
No, yeah,
You know,
we've
like,
all had.
and I guess if God's calling you to that, well, then go for it. But that makes it more understandable that, like, you know, as you were saying, this is the call for all of us. So who in our lives can we walk with? And then get to that point where we can actually talk about like, hey, here's something that matters. You ever thought of, you know, the 4 last things? You ever thought of what's after this life? You know, and so that's awesome that you're walking with Emma. And that you're able to do that. You know, you said you were also involved in a Bible study, and you're using the focus model for that. You know, what kind of does that look like also? How many people are in your Bible study? What's it like to be the lead of a Bible study? You know, is it a little nerve-wracking? You know, like what kind of give us the ins and outs of that?
Yeah, I would say when I first was I was in the Spanish Bible study, or we're trying with my Bible study. It was specifically aimed to like try to get the Hispanic students to gather together. I was in it last spring just as a participant, and yeah, it was like so good because I don't know, there's a minority of Hispanic people here, and so it was really good to see other Hispanics and being able to have the Bible study in Spanish. How that looked like in the fall changed a lot just because the leader, he was a graduate student, so he didn't have the time to be able to lead it this year. And so for a while to start, it was like, well, is there one? Like, do we have one? And then another thing with like the study is that like the majority of people that were in the study last spring had also graduated. So the numbers were really, really down. But I talked with Father Andy and it was more of a conversation of like, is this still something good? Like, is there still value in this? And I was like, honestly, yeah, because they're just people that I naturally relate to. And so it just kind of fell on my lap. Like, well, if I wanted to continue, then yeah, I do want to put the effort and work into it. And so to start in the fall, it was a lot of recruiting, trying to like find people. But we got around like 5 or 6 people total. But attendance was like kind of on the waves. And that was just something we prayed about, me and Jesse, of like, okay, how honestly, even if it's just 1 or 2 people in the study, it's still good because we're still talking about Jesus and we're still having that conversation. So yeah, last semester there was about 3. And then the model for that was just so we went through the Crux Bible study. So they have like they have a study for the theology of the body, and another Crux, like creation. Would I be making that up? I can't think of all of them off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, they do have packets, and like it's basically walking you through a specific subject. So like the Crux specifically talked about like starting at Genesis into like story of salvation and kind of that path, like what did that look like, how do these things connect. And for the study leader, they had this like list of questions that they were giving to help them out if like, yeah, this is how we get this discussion started, this is how this is where we lead them to understand. And so it was really all laid out on paper of what it was that we were trying to get out of the study. And so that took prep time as a Bible study leader,
Okay.
which was a little chaotic in the fall just because I was in color guard and everything was just like, whoa. But I got the hang of it. And then for the start of this spring semester, we really recruited at the beginning. So I would say we had about 5. But we got a lot of people just by being out like in the union tabling, or like it was just people I'd meet at like a fair event. But yeah, just getting to invite them to it. And so now we've switched over from like one of the like story of salvation kind of thing to doing the Lexio, just because mainly because my schedule
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But, mainly because like my schedule just was too wild to be able to prep the study as well as like I feel like it should be prepped. Whereas Alexio, I do have to prep the exegesis by listening to an exegesis, but it's like mainly the discussion happens between like what are we getting out of the Lexio, like what do we feel like God is telling us through the Lexio. And so it is a little simpler to get to lead. But I really enjoy the people there, the people that come to the study, and we just have really good discussions. And it's helped me a lot because yeah, sometimes they'll ask questions that I don't even know the answer to, and I'm like, Catholic answers. We
I
got
use
this.
Catholic answers a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's awesome. Let me take a quick break. You are listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon. Pray, hope, and don't worry. We're praying that you'll partner with us and help us to use up these matching funds. We have $7,400 left in matching funds. Call 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110, and you can become a partner in our evangelization message of getting the word of Christ out there. And you know, we're sitting here talking with Jazmin about evangelization, and I was talking about the awkwardness of, you know, like, how do you do this, what do you do, and actually donating to the station takes all the awkwardness out of it, because we do the work. We put on the airwaves EWTN stuff that they have. We have 3 of our own shows that we produce and we put out there. We've got these interviews that are able to be out there right now as you're listening to them. So if you want to take all the awkwardness out of evangelization, and have a little bit of a cheat, you could actually just call in, donate, and we will help you to do that. And we thank you so very much for it. 785-621-4110. All right, I'm going to get back to speaking with Jazmin. And Jazmin, as you were talking about leading this Bible study, what are some of the fruits that you've seen come out of either the Bible studies you've been involved in or the one that you are helping to lead?
I would say, so besides the one that I'm leading, I am in another Bible study ran by somebody else. And oh gosh, there's just so much goodness. So from the Spanish Bible study that I'm leading, the goodness and the fruit of it is like the conversation and like understanding. Like I would say we're getting really good understanding of what was going on. Like the exegesis helps a lot, and being able to be asked questions that I would have as a credo Catholic, it just, yeah, that happened. But then I have someone who isn't credo Catholic or like fell off from the faith and has come back and is just like asking me these questions, and I'm like, that's a good question, actually. Let me check. And so like that fruit has been really, really good. And so, and the other Bible study, it's an all girls Bible study. But with that one, it's been a lot of fellowship, I would say. Like that's, yeah, one of the beautiful things of having a Bible study, if being in a Bible study, is that fellowship and like being able to relate to the other girls and like,
Yeah.
yeah, this happens in your prayer life too. Oh my gosh. And like, and yeah, I would say Isabella, who leads that Bible study, does a really good job of like really deep helping make those connections between like this part of the Bible and the other parts of the Bible, and just like she's also just really good at like leading discussion and getting us to open up about where have we struggled, where are we doing good. So yeah, I'd say that was
That I have to agree with you. Not that I have a bunch of women who experience what I experienced, but in the men's groups in the Bible studies that I've been a part of, yeah, the best ones have been where you're able to share with one another what's going on, because there's a lot of time. Well, first off, God did not create us to be men on islands, right? Like here's your island, here's how he created us to be communal, because he's communal.
Yeah,
we got the Trinity. And so the importance of that is sometimes we do feel like men or women on our own islands, and like, is anybody else actually experiencing this? And I found one of the great fruits in the Bible studies I've been involved in is, you bring something up and you're like, you kind of get the courage. You're like, all right, this is what I've been dealing with. And the other guys there are like, yeah, all the time. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, I really thought that I was going to say that. And you guys kind of might look at me like, huh, oh, sorry, you're going through that, dude. But it's so often when other people are like, yeah, I deal with that. And actually I struggle with that a lot. And you're like, holy cow, that's freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just like a lot of things, like a lot of topics that we've touched on that have really been able, like, it's a blessing to be vulnerable with other girls about it. And it's like such a blessing to be able to help encourage them in like the moments of when we need encouraging, moments when we need like rejoicing. And it's just that fellowship that, I know I can easily walk up to them, count on them for anything. So
yeah, and I expect, please don't tell me the sins of others or yours. I can't absolve you. And don't want to do it. We don't want to share that on the air. But I can imagine on a college campus, especially, you were talking about this earlier, where people need to understand the love of Christ, because they're looking for fulfillment in all kinds of crazy ways. We don't have to list them. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
And so in a situation like that, also, it must be very freeing for especially a lot of these ladies to be like, you know what, but Father has confession tomorrow. I'll go with you. Like, if you're afraid to go, so you say it's been 7 years. So what? Let me walk with you. Let's go.
Yeah. That's literally what we talked. I mean, not about our sins, but like on Tuesday when we had our Bible study, literally a subject that was brought up was like confession, and just how anxiety inducing that can be sometimes, and like being able to like talk to other girls about it and like encouraging each other, and just that kind of things, like something that I don't know, I didn't really experience when I was in Garden City. I would say the Catholic community that I found here is definitely so big, and my faith has grown a lot just by being in Hayes. And I coming here, this is like known as a party town, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I genuinely never really had much interest in drinking. But coming from Garden, there wasn't even like a community for Catholics. And so finding the CC and just being able to go there's been a lot of blessings and just fruit coming from it. Over and over again, he never fails to surprise me with good blessings. But yeah, I just really, really appreciate it. And I'm so happy that I ended up coming here. Like, can't imagine being anywhere else right now.
That's awesome. And so anybody that's out there listening, especially if you're younger, college age, something like that, get a hold of Jazmin, grab her and be like, hey, how do I be a part of your Bible study? Or, hey, will you walk with me?
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there for myself too. If there's any men out there that need somebody to walk with them, because I need people to walk with me too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point too, is like, to walk with somebody doesn't mean the person walking with you is perfect, because
No.
that's only Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, it's a very big blessing. So yeah, absolutely. If you're out there listening, there's people that will walk with you. Get a hold of one of us. We can get you in touch with somebody, or we ourselves will walk with you the best that we can. So Jazmin, we've got just a couple minutes left here. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or plug the Adoration Under the Stars a little bit more?
Yeah, let me just plug Adoration Under the Stars a little bit more.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be so good. I didn't think we mentioned this earlier, but there's going to be a dance afterwards. Yeah, so if you like some swing dancing, come around, stay around afterwards. There's also confession at Adoration Under the Stars.
Great.
So look at that.
That's
All
awesome.
together. But
Now, where's the dance at? Is it in the grotto area there, or is
I
it?
believe it would be in the gym. Like
Oh,
they were gonna
okay.
have it. I think I should probably check before I give you a definite answer there.
Show
but
up at TMP, you'll find it.
Yeah, we'll all like make a group huddle over there.
I mean, if you look for the group and listen for music, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. So
yeah, but it should be good. We have a lot of songs being prepared for it. I'm so excited. And yeah, just don't forget water, your Bible, journal. I love journaling in adoration. Just helps me. When you ramble too much and you're just like, I can't stay focused. But when you put it down in journal, make it to God, then it's a prayer.
Awesome.
But yeah, so just don't forget that, and water if you need it. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much. We really appreciate your time here. Please pray for us. We'll be praying for you and for Adoration Under the Stars.
Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Have a great day.
Have a great day too.
Thanks. All right. We just got done having a wonderful conversation with Jazmin. She is down at the Fort Hays State Como Catholic Campus Center, doing great things down there, talking about Adoration Under the Stars, Bible studies, discipling people, and all kinds of stuff. If you want to go back and watch this interview again, you can catch us on YouTube. We were on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, as we are of all the rest of this week, which tomorrow is the last day. And if you want to watch these again, go to the YouTube page, find those interviews, and you can key them back up so that you can catch anything that you may have missed. As I'm speaking, I want to remind everybody that our Care-a-thon theme here is pray, hope, and don't worry. So please pray for us, trust in God, and don't worry, he's going to take care of the rest. We have a Care-a-thon goal of $125,000. Please help us with this goal. You can follow our progress at dvmercy.com and watch as the thermometer goes up. To donate, you can actually also go to dvmercy.com. You can call us at 785-621-4110. I also want to remind everybody that we have our last day coming up tomorrow. So please stay tuned, be here with us, help us to use up the matching funds, and help us to get to our goal. All right, we are getting ready now to draw our winner. Do we have anybody special to draw today?
I don't believe so. It's just going to be a normal draw from us here in the studio.
Just boring Cody and Michael.
Yeah.
But at least it'll be exciting for whoever wins.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Michael's got his big old paw in there. Let's see. He's like a bear paw. Let's see who he draws out. And the winner is Jackie Skolot. All right. Jackie was in here visiting with us earlier. So congratulations, Jackie. You are the winner of today's a messenger gift certificate of $50 down there with Jerome and Angela Schmeidler. We appreciate what they do for us and that they give them to us. We will get that gift certificate ready for you. Do you have any other announcements for today?
Yeah. Hey, just make sure tomorrow, we love seeing people up at the station. Usually, just on normal work days, Nathan and I it's just us up here, so it's kind of cool to see all sorts of people, coming in, and let us know what you're listening from. We're always curious too, who's listening from where. We've had some people on the app, some people just listening on the radio like normal, all that kind of stuff. And one other thing is that, we still have some books up here from Kristen Lyle. So come up here, make your pledge, make your donation, pick up your Care-a-thon gift, your coasters, maybe even that traveling coffee mug. Those are so amazing too. I've been using one basically this whole Care-a-thon to hold my
you
coffee.
have one already? Come on, man.
I'm borrowing. No, but so just come up and see us. We love seeing our listeners up here. We love to actually meet the people that, like we just mentioned, that we're evangelizing, and being able to see that helps, put a fire in our hearts to be able to live and work for you all here. So come up and see us, and we'd love to have you up here.
That's awesome. I love how Michael put it. I mean, you guys are our boss. You pay our bills. Come let us know what you like, and just come see us. All right. I am so glad to be here with you. I'm your host, Cody Morencer. I will be back in the morning, and tomorrow is guaranteed to be a good last day. But as it is the last day, we've got a big push to get us to the end. Please be those people that can help us to use up our matching funds. You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon. Pray, hope, and don't worry on 101.7 KJDM Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 KMDG Hayes, 88.1 KRTT Great Bend, 88.1 KVDM Hayes, 89.1 KGOH Colby, and 107.3 K297AI in Hill City. God bless you all and have a wonderful night.